Hi, thanks for joining us, and welcome to the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. 4-H has been around for over 100 years, helping young people develop the skills they need to become responsible, caring citizens. Today, we're going to introduce you to the 4-H program in Shelby County and talk about some of the things they're doing. And if you're new to gardening, paper whites are an excellent first project. They're fast, fragrant, and beautiful, and they can be grown indoors or out. We're going to show you how easy it is to get them started. That's just ahead on the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. So stay with us.
This is a production of WKNO Memphis. Production funding for the Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South is provided by Goodwin's Landscape and Garden Center in Germantown since 1943 and continuing to offer its plants for successful gardening with 7 greenhouses and 3 acres of plants, plus comprehensive landscape services. International Paper Foundation, the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.
Hi, welcome to the Family Plot. I'm Chris Cooper. Joining me today is Ellen LeBlanc. Miss Ellen is our horticulture expert today. Miss Becky Winsler. Becky is the 4-H Extension Agent here in Shelby County, and Hayden Quick is here. Hayden is our 4-H member right here in Shelby County. How's everybody doing today?
Just fine.
Good. This is going to be super. All right, Miss Ellen. I like demonstrations. I think our people like demonstrations.
So you're going
to show us a little bit about paper white planting, right?
Paper white planting. Okay. And a paper white is a type of daffodil or narcissus.
Right.
And it happens to be one of the daffodils that we don't have to have a chilling period. Okay. So they're perfect for a holiday planting.
Okay.
And what we would do, at this point, this is Halloween or beginning of November, middle November, we're going to start our paper whites and they will be ready to give as a holiday gift. Of course, it's going to take us about 28 days to get them there. Right. So I want to fill up my container. You can use it, plant straight into your container if you want. I like to do it in a saucer that you can get at any of the big box stores. Okay. And it's usually about 3 to 4 inches deep. I'm going to fill it full of pea gravel. You want to clean your paper whites off and make sure that you get this little skin part off of it, because as you grow your paper white, it's going to flake away and will look unsightly. So I'm going to move it.
Okay.
I am literally just going to sink these in. I just want to anchor them enough. It's very, very quick. You can get your paper whites at any of the smaller nurseries, I would think, or probably in any of the catalogs, which is where I get mine. The type of paper whites that we use mostly during this time of year is called one called Ziva, Z-I-V-A, and it is very, very fragrant and comes on very quickly. Okay. We're going to grow it in our house in a sunny window, and it will start growing up. It has a flower that's actually used very extensively in the perfume industry. Wow. When I go to water, and I want to make sure that the water really doesn't come up any higher than this root system. Okay. So I just want the water just to touch the bottom of it, and then if there's too much water, I just tip it out. Keep it in a bright light. It should take about 28 days. The closer to Thanksgiving you get, the quicker it'll do. At Thanksgiving, it's 21 days, and if you started on the 10th of December, it would take about 11.
Good. So if you get too much water in there, it'll rot out those roots?
It will rot out those roots. So I just literally just tip it over like that and pour some of the water out. Basically, it is, you don't see the water when you look at the rock.
Okay.
You know?
Don't see
and
the
so
water.
I check it every single day.
Okay. And we need to also make sure that these are live, that they're living, right?
Well, and I know that, but many of the ones that you buy might not have this little neck that is coming out. It does not mean it's not a good bulb. It's just not further along. However, sometimes you will get what we call a blind one, and he will not start at the same time as others.
Good.
Can I have this little pot here that I have some started? This is a new variety. It's out of Israel. It's called Inbul, and it is actually planted best in dirt. And the roots grow faster, but what I like to use this one for, it is not as highly fragrant. Sometimes people with allergies find this a little, or perfume allergy, find this a little strong. So we use the Inbul, and it will grow smaller, a little shorter, less fragrant, but lasts better in a house condition. So in soil, the Inbuls, but all the other paper whites can go into rock.
Okay. Now, in soil, any fertilizers, anything like that? Okay.
No,
Just plant it in there.
because a bulb actually comes already ready. Everything is in it. We did it last year when they went into dormancy. We made sure that they were fertilized during the time, and they are ready to go. And then I would wait. I could plant these outside. They will bloom about December 10th for us here, which is an unusual time for us to think to have daffodils. So I put them in a protected area to make sure that frost didn't end up hitting them.
Okay. One more question about this. Any kind of soil? Does it matter what kind of soil you use?
There's a daffodil oh, you mean in the pot?
In the pot.
I would use a potting soil,
which
of course is a mix of peat and perlite.
Okay.
All right, so that is the paper whites.
Paper whites, all right.
And if you would take this back. Then the next one we're going to do is an amaryllis. And the amaryllis, when we do an amaryllis, there are Dutch amaryllis and South African amaryllis. And at this time of year, we're actually going to do a South African amaryllis because their season is backwards. So it's June or April, and so they are ready to bloom, and that's when an amaryllis really wants to bloom. If we use a Dutch one, it's going to take us 12 weeks. I want this ready for the holidays, and a South African one will take only about 6 weeks or a short amount of time. So when we plant them, I'm going to put about this much soil in my pot, and I like to tip it to the side. The first thing I would do is soak these roots for about 30 minutes just to help them get moistened up. And I tip my pot on the side to make sure that I get those roots down in, so I can make sure I get those roots down into the pot, and then I backfill with dirt. The most important thing to remember on an amaryllis is you want it duck on water. So you're only going to bring that soil up about this high. You are not going to plant this all the way. So again, just backfill. If you have amaryllis that you have kept from year to year, you know your amaryllis is ready to be potted because it will stick a little green tongue up. And will tell you that that's ready to go. He's breaking his own dormancy. All right, so I would get this soil, and it's kind of messy. Let's put that to the side. But then gardening is.
Sure it is.
But a little duck on water. Press your soil down. Just like we plant our irises, our tall-bearded irises, we plant them duck on water. So get that down, and then you're going to water it one time.
One time.
And then it's going to kick this little tongue out. At that point, you will start watering it fairly regularly. And you are not going to fertilize this until after he has bloomed. When he's bloomed, then you can start just a bulb fertilizer. This can be transplanted outside in the springtime under any trees. They're hardy here in Memphis. So you could plant them out under a tree, and it will bloom for you next June. If you want to keep it in a pot, just please make sure you take care of it like a house plant and fertilize it, because the fertilizing creates the new flower for next year. All right, so that's that. And then our last little treat, can we have the muffin pan, please?
This is pretty neat. We have a couple of minutes for this.
All right, the last little treat that we're doing, yes, we don't need to make more mud balls, is we used to give them for teachers' presents, and they are actually mud balls filled with wildflower seeds. And so you, and it's a great project to do with children. And so we just literally go out and get some good mud. Don't get compost, because I want to make a good ball that holds together, and it seems like the more leaf or pine needles that are in it, it doesn't hold together as well. So I just make a good mud ball, and I take a spoon and just make a little hole in there. Now I'm going to plant, this is a blackberry lily or a Bellum Canda chinensis. I'm going to put those in there, but this seed, as you see, is fairly large, excuse my dirt. And so I don't really worry about it getting down into the hole and getting lost in there. If I'm going to work with a really small seed, I want to put some sand in there so the seed will be suspended in that sand. But you just drop your little seeds down in there, close it up.
That's pretty cool, though.
Like this. We also, as you see, we've made these just because they wrap up cute, and put a bamboo stake in them and made them into a lollipop. And then would put the name of the flower on it. I don't know if you can see that. Put the name of the flower and what sort of sun. I also put the botanical names. It's important for us to learn our botanical names. But what they're going to do is literally take this out to their garden and put it in their garden wherever they want to put it. one thing we find a lot of times when we're planting seeds, either the birds get the seeds or the rains roll it away. This actually makes it stay in place. And as the winter rains come, it washes that mud down. It makes a little bed for that seed to stay in so the rest of the rains don't do it away, and your plant actually stays where you wanted it to be planted.
How smart is that?
And it's just wonderful.
That's a nice little gift.
So great Christmas gifts, and they don't cost anything but a stake of bamboo.
All right, thank you, Miss Ellen. That was pretty neat. All right, I had to put that on the list.
Make it on the list.
There are still a few gardening events going on in the area that might interest you. Here are just a few of them. All right, Becky, let's tell the people about 4-H. What is it and who can participate?
Okay, well, 4-H is a youth organization through the University of Tennessee and the Agri Center. About 6 years ago, Agri Center took us on as part of programming there, and it's available for 4th through 12th grade. We do have some younger ones that do it from 5 to 8 called Clover Buds. But 4th grade to 12th grade is the primary grades that we work with. It's open to everybody, homeschoolers, special needs. I mean, it's open to everybody. Whoever wants to participate. And we have outlets like homeschool clubs, community clubs, we have an honor club, we have several different clubs throughout the city that kids can come and participate in, as well as their parents.
Okay, good deal. Now, what are some of the 4-H programs, the contests, and events that are offered right here in Shelby County?
Well, we're in several of the schools currently, and some of the things that we do in the schools is public speaking. We have a piggy bank contest to try to encourage saving money. We have a demonstration contest, sort of like what you just did, where the kids teach others how to do something hands-on. We have a service project in December. This past year, we collected items for Salvation Army. We try to change it up every year and help someone different. We have a photography contest as well, and a poster contest, which is a popular one. So those are things that we do each month in the schools. We start in October, we go till April. And so it's about 5 to 6 meetings we try to have in the school systems with the kids, with some of the schools. And also, just most recently, we had our chick chain, where we had a sale out of the Agri Center where poultry buyers came and bought the kids' chickens that participated, and that money filters back into the program. So the kids don't have to pay for their chickens next year. So that's the most recent contest that that we've had. We had our 4-H fair too this summer that appeals to a lot of different kids because there's something for everybody. There's horticulture, there's creative arts, there's cooking. We had an animal show too, so there's always something for everybody in that one. And then of course we just finished the Delta Fair with our big fundraiser. And so those are just a few of the things that we have. Yes.
That's a lot. The chick chain is cool. I like when the little chickadees come to the office. That's pretty neat.
They come little bitty babies in March, and then by last weekend they're big. And so,
that's pretty good.
That's a fun one.
Now, you were talking about forestry. Let's get Aiden in here and talk a little bit about the forestry competition that you guys were in.
The forestry competition. Well, do you want me just to talk about what we do in it?
Yeah, talk about what you do in it.
Well, we do multiple different forest evaluation techniques. Anything basically a forester will have to do in his job, everyday life, we have to do in this competition. It teaches you to become a forester. It teaches you everything you need to know to become and go into that later in life. We do tree measurement, tree ID, wood ID, leaf ID. We do site evaluations, encompassing and pacing. And it's just really, it's a lot of fun, even though it's a lot of work at the same time. It's a really enjoyable project.
Yeah, and I've seen you guys do some of those projects. I mean, smart kids. Real smart kids. Now, could you tell us about the national competition that you guys won?
Yes, sir, I could.
Yes, tell us about that. Tell the people.
Well, it was in West Virginia, Weston, West Virginia. It was teams invited from all over the nation, And we all met together, and you know, you'd expect to come into this competition and everybody be tense and not want to talk to each other, because you know, it's a national competition,
Right.
and everybody's coming together, and you see this other state, and you know, you're kind of backing up from each other, but it really was not like that. Everybody went into this with such a good attitude, and I mean, halfway through the trip, everybody was talking to each other like old friends.
Right.
I mean, it was a really good competition, and they did everything in forestry. They did all the tree measurement and tree ID and wood ID and compassing and pacing, and we were up there for a week. The competition lasted, hard competition was over 3 days.
Okay.
Yes, sir. And we met a lot of different friends and have a lot of people we still keep up with to this day from that competition.
Okay. And y'all won the competition.
Yes, sir. We won the
Yeah,
competition.
don't leave that part out. Y'all won the competition.
We won, yes, sir.
Okay, now is that the first time a group from Shelby County has won that?
It is the first time from Shelby County, yes, sir. We are the first from West Tennessee to win the national competition since about 17 years.
Wow. Good for y'all. That's pretty good.
Thank you.
All right. Now we have a couple of minutes left, and Becky definitely wanted to talk a little bit about On My Own.
Yes.
I mean, that is wonderful. We want the people to know about that.
We have a program called On My Own. It's a money management program. It encompasses a little bit of career development. We do a personality test. We try to match a career with their personality. Then we give them a family situation, which they have a lot of fun with that. And they have to actually pay bills for a month. Most recently, we were just at Collierville High School where we saw nearly 1,000 kids doing that for 2 days. But since we started the program in the schools, and we've even branched into some in DeSoto County, and Bancorp South has helped us get into those schools down there, we've reached over 25,000 kids doing that. And so it's steadily growing. But we've been to 1 million schools, it seems like, since 2004 is when we started the program. And it's just to teach them how to budget, how to write a check, and how to balance their checkbook. Because a lot of times they think if they have a debit card, they don't have to balance their checkbook. You know, that it's just endless, you know, the money's endless. So it teaches those 3 things, and decision making. And, you know, if they have a family of 5, they have to buy groceries for 5 and not just one person. You know, so, and like with the house, if they have, you know, a family of 6, they probably need more than a 1-bedroom home. So they have to make those decisions within that program. But we have branched into several schools in DeSoto County with that. And Bancorp South is one of our big partners with that, and as well as Commercial Bank and Trust has helped us out a little bit with it too.
Okay,
so.
good deal. Quickly, can you tell us how many home clubs there are in Shelby County?
We currently have 3 homeschool clubs. They're scattered throughout the county that kids can go to. We have a community club in Collierville. If that's not convenient to someone, they can enroll as an independent member, where they won't get that monthly club, but they can still come to our honor club, which is once a month for 6th grade and up, and still participate in all the contests and the service projects and things like that that we have going on.
Good deal, Becky. That's some good information. Thanks too, Hayden.
Thank you.
I'm definitely proud of you guys.
Thank you.
For winning that competition. All right, here's our Q&A session. Okay, and if y'all want to answer some of these questions, feel free to jump right on in. All right. All right. Here's our first question. We have a viewer email, and it's from Billy. And he wants to know, I just planted about 300 spring bulbs, okay? Soon the area will be covered with weeds, okay? You know, it's weeds will be blown in, I'm sure. Will corn gluten hurt the bulbs, or should I use a thin layer of hardwood mulch, or how about a combination of both? What's your take on that, Sally?
Well, the corn gluten is actually a viable product, but sometimes I worry about the burning possibilities on it. So I would find that I would really like to put mulch down instead. The bulbs will do fine as far as that's concerned. I, however, would not use a hardwood mulch. I'd use a shredded pine bark or a mulch like that, because the hardwood mulch, well, I'm going to have to add nitrogen fertilizer to it next spring as it breaks down, so it won't rob it from my bulbs and what I have planted in the ground.
Okay. The thing about corn gluten meal is this. It can be used as a pre-emerge. Okay. I like to tell people I would rather for your plants to be established already before you actually use it because of the burn.
Yes, exactly.
Okay? So you have to be careful with, using pre-emerged products. Okay. But a lot of research has been done about corn gluten meal. I think the guy at Iowa State actually,
Yes.
you know, started the research with corn gluten
It's a
meal.
very viable
Sure,
product,
it is.
but I think that in using it, in this case, he wants to use it more as a mulch product, and I would be afraid of my bulbs coming up through it.
Okay.
Already.
So just a thin layer of the mulch would be fine, you
Yep,
think?
just regular, you know, put out an inch, 2 inch. You don't want to get it so thick that you don't get air down to the underneath the mulch. You know, when you get that kind of white, kind of slimy looking mold
Which
that
I've
grows
seen.
underneath, it is because there's not enough air circulation.
Okay, good deal. Here's the second question.
Oh, wait, one last thing.
Let's get back to this.
One
One last
that
thing.
mulch you don't put down until we have our freeze and the ground is cold, because the
Okay.
whole purpose we want it is to keep the cold in this area. So you're going to wait probably till December
All
to
right.
do it.
So y'all hear that? Wait till December to do that.
Yes.
Okay, there you go. We got it in.
Thanks, I'm sorry.
Good. You okay? That's what the people want, so we're going to give it to them. All right. Here's the second one. How do I control worms in my cabbage and broccoli? We get this question a lot over at the Extension office. Look, there's a product, okay? That product is called BT. It's Bacillus thuringiensis, okay? Put that out, okay? It actually comes in a liquid form and a powder form, but what it does is once the caterpillars of the worms start eating these leaves that are covered with this BT, it will give them a stomach ache.
And leave it alone.
And they will leave it alone because they will eventually die.
Yes.
Okay. And this is a safe product. It's an organic
It's a
product.
yes,
Yeah,
natural.
natural product. So your beneficials will be just fine. It's just going to target, you know, these worms, these caterpillars. So it'll be fine. Anything you want to add to that?
Wash it good.
Wash it good.
And invite me when you're eating it. That's what my answer is.
All right, here's the next question. Now, I have these lesions on my roses that have purple to red borders around them. What is it and how do I control it? I can't tell you how many times we've gotten this question this past summer. That's Cercospora leaf spot. And here's the dead giveaway for that. The lesions have the purple or red borders around them. The centers, they're either tan in color or gray in color. Okay?
Okay.
The older lesions. But that red or purple border is the dead giveaway.
And it shows up on our hydrangeas too. You've
Shows
got
up
this
on
spot
hydrangeas. They
We
sure
get
do.
that question.
And look, good sanitation, number one, okay? Just remove those diseased leaves, get them out of there.
Air circulation.
Air circulation is very important because you want that air to flow through to actually dry off the foliage.
Exactly.
Because if the foliage stays wet from Mother Nature or if you're overhead watering, then those spores are blown in
See,
and
there's
they
the
germinate
problem,
right
sure.
there where those leaves have been wet. Okay, so you definitely want to, you know, have good air circulation. If you must, you can use the fungicide. Okay, there's some that are out there, Miss Ellen, that you can use if you want to do that. Bettermax is one that we actually recommend. Daconil is another one. Read the label on those,
But just remember, when you use a fungicide, it's like our antibiotics.
keep doing it.
So you need to switch up on your fungicides.
switch 'em up.
3 weeks on one, 3 weeks on another. It's just like our children taking the antibiotic and it's not working anymore if you use the same. So switch up on your fungicides, and while you're at it, if you want to go ahead and spray your roses, do that. But
Do that.
there are other things that you can spray at the same time when you spray your roses to help keep your powdery mildew and these funguses from moving around your garden.
okay, good deal. All right, here's our last question. And Hayden, how about this one now? You think it's okay to water your trees during the wintertime? What would you
Actually-
think?
I actually think it would be okay.
There you go. Okay.
I think it would.
Okay. And why do you think it'd be okay?
Well, I mean, they're naturally snow, rain, sleet. They're naturally going to get water during the winter. And, I mean, if that doesn't hurt them, I wouldn't figure watering them during the winter would, unless you overwater. I mean,
There you go.
of course.
It's okay to water your trees in the wintertime because most people see what's on top of the ground, okay? But you got to understand there's roots under the ground. Those roots are still actively growing. So if they're actively growing, they still need water. Now, you wouldn't have to water as much as you would in the summertime, but they still need water.
They do, and I think about what I would teach in one of my classes is an average of 1 inch a week throughout the year. We're in our part of the country, we're between 48 and 52 inches of rain a year. We're behind. This has been an awfully dry, hot summer. So if I was to put in a new tree at the Dixon Gallery where I've worked, we water a tree for an entire year. And when you water, it's not just hitting that tree. Make sure you hit it with the water and you let it water deep. If you're going to use your irrigation system, take your irrigation timing and split it in half and run it one time and then another.
All right, that works. Thank y'all for being here today. That was good. That's all we have time for today. Be sure to join us next week. We only have one more show left in this season, but you can still send us an email or letter and let us help answer your gardening questions. And if you miss an episode of The Family Plot, you can watch past shows online. Just go to WKNO.org and click on KNO Tonight. And be sure to follow us on Facebook and Twitter. Thanks for joining us. I'm Chris Cooper, and I'll see you next time on The Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South. Be safe.
Production funding for The Family Plot, Gardening in the Mid-South is provided by Good Winds Landscape and Garden Center in Germantown since 1943 and continuing to offer its plants for successful gardening with 7 greenhouses and 3 acres of plants, plus comprehensive landscape services. International Paper Foundation, the WKNO Production Fund, the WKNO Endowment Fund, and by viewers like you. Thank you.